President, ladies and gentlemen, honourable members, Minister, Commissioner. On behalf of Mr. Lazarou, our member responsible for the annual report, who is with me today, I would like to begin by thanking the Committee on Budgetary Control, its chair, Mrs. Gressler, and the various rapporteurs, in particular Mr. Zeller. I would like to thank them for their dedication to this year's discharge exercise and for having brought it to a successful conclusion. It has already been mentioned that the court issued a clean opinion on the reliability of bookkeeping and accounts for 2016. Nothing new. What is new, what is unprecedented, is that for the first time ever, the Court of Auditors issued a qualified audit opinion on the legality and regularity of the transactions underlying the accounts for 2016. Payments based on the entitlement basis are free from material error. We're talking about an estimated error rate of 1.3%. Payments based on reimbursements are still affected, however, by a material error rate of 4.8%. Now, this qualified opinion does create a different dynamic that has helped with completing this year's discharge procedure. Let me point out, however, once again, that the estimated error rate could have been even lower if the Commission or other bodies, in particular those managing EU funds in the Member States, had made use of available information to prevent errors before they even happened, or to detect or correct errors where they do happen. So there's clear potential for improvement. Now, as you know, in addition to its general annual report, the Court publishes specific annual reports on all EU agencies. I would just like to mention one agency that has already come up in our debate, the Asylum Support Office. The Court of Auditors was not able to give a positive opinion concerning legality and regularity of payments. This is particularly due to a problem at the agency when it comes to procurement procedures. Now, I have seen your draft resolution, and I can see that the Parliament is set to postpone the discharge pending the results of further investigations. It will keep a watching brief on matters. Mr. Stars, the rapporteur, has already made that point. Now, the discharge procedure is a look back at what has happened, but many of your observations have a bearing on the future, in particular the upcoming multiannual financial framework. In this connection, the Court has and will help decision makers offer a wide range of ideas and observations based on our audit work for you to draw on as you progress your work. In the last 2 months, we've adopted a series of briefing papers on future of EU finances, future of the CAP, research funding beyond 2020. We are also currently working on a briefing paper on simplification of the European structural and investment funds and cohesion policy. We will follow up with formal opinions on the Commission's legislative proposals for the next MFF and the main spending programmes. In our view, it is essential that we draw lessons from the previous generation of programmes before taking decisions on the upcoming generation of programmes. In this connection, I would like to make the following remark. Outstanding commitments are projected to reach 262 billion by 2020. It is extremely important that this matter be addressed in the next multiannual financial framework. I'm delighted to note that all three legislative institutions, all three institutions involved in legislation, have acknowledged the importance of that step. On future annual reports, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity to highlight that from next year onwards, our annual report will benefit from an approach that we're currently piloting in our audit of cohesion spending. For the 2017 financial year, we've started to assess the reliability of information reported by the Commission on the legality and regularity of cohesion spending. What we do is review audit files and repeat audits carried out on the ground by the Commission and Member State authorities. The aim is clear. It is to vet systems to ensure that we have fewer audits but better quality audits. This is very important for our overall work and our overall opinion on the legality and regularity of EU spending. This new approach is very important for the European Court of Auditors because we believe that it offers the potential to ensure that stakeholders, citizens have better quality information. We will create greater potential for higher caliber auditing. Mr. Zeller really summed it up. Compliance is important, but performance will become ever more important too, and that's something we need to focus on in the Court of Auditors. Now, I would like to wind up with a quick word on the institution that I have the honour of presiding, since we're naturally also covered by the discharge procedure. The Court welcomes the support offered by the Parliament in its resolution, in particular as regards its overall prudent and sound financial management, organisational reform carried out in 2016, good cooperation with the Budgetary Control Committee and essential follow-up with the European Parliament's specialised committees, new rules on the use of official vehicles and the Court's environmental policy. I'm also pleased to inform you that we recently strengthened our internal controls and revised our rules on budgetary matters, missions and representation expenses of members. The aim was to remedy shortcomings swiftly where they're identified and to increase transparency. Our institution has decided furthermore to ask a number of EU and international supreme audit institutions to carry out a so-called peer review of the Court. Starting next year, these specialised colleagues will examine how successful the Court has been so far in delivering its strategic objectives and make recommendations on further steps that might be taken. This will be the third time this century that we have undergone or will undergo such a peer review and open ourselves up to external independent scrutiny and welcome the advice of sister organisations. Finally, we note that this House would like to close the discharge procedure within the year following the accounting year in question. As has been pointed out, this would be a huge advantage because you could draw lessons from one year to the next. As we know, this timing issue involves a plethora of players and deadlines. We at the Court are, of course, willing to do everything we can to ensure timely discharge procedure without, however, compromising on the high calibre nature of the data made available. Thank you very much for your attention.